Hey y'all, it's me Tiffany and welcome back to my channel. So I made a video called 10 book series that I need to finish, and now I wanted to kind of do a follow-up video about 10 series that I am not going to finish. Like, I just DNF'd these book series. Okay, so the first one is the Beautiful series. I think there's going to be a third book coming out. I only read the Beautiful, and I actually did that for, I think it was my first video on this channel, like a vampire vlog. I thought it was okay, but looking back on it, I have no interest in finishing it. The next one is a old YA booktube classic. This series went downhill. I think that is actually like the common consensus of this book series, but the Match trilogy. I read the first two and the second one was horrible, and I heard the third one's even worse, and I read these, I think, 2017 or 2018, I don't know. People are picked out on who's like the best match for them, but she wants somebody else, yada yada yada. You know how this goes, right? The first one was okay, but the second one, the third one, I didn't even finish the first book. I DNF'd it, and it's called The Winston Brothers. I know the first one's free on Audible Plus, but I don't know if the other ones are. And when I read the synopsis, like Bearded Truth or Truth or Beard, I'll put the book up here. It says it about like mistaken identity with the twins, and the girl accidentally gets with the wrong twin. And I thought maybe like she mixed them up, and maybe the twin didn't realize they got mixed up until later, right? But this is going to be kind of spoilers, but at the same time, I feel like I need to talk about why this wasn't for me. And I don't understand, like, why it has such good reviews. And it's just from, like, the first hour and a half I listened to it. So this girl really likes one twin and hates the other one, right? I don't remember their names. But they're, like, redheaded twins or something. And the guy she don't like, the twin she don't like, pretends to be the brother she does like, knows which twin this lady wants to go for. So this guy knew she don't like him, doesn't want him, wants his brother, but pretends to be his brother so he could sleep with her. And she didn't find out till later, and of course she gets mad. And then she kind of accepts it, and that's when I was like, no, that's like a consent issue. It'd be different if she just like mixed up the wrong twin or something, maybe didn't call him by name, and he actually thought, hey, she consensually wants to sleep with me, not my brother. And she honestly thought that, you know, in that kind of mistaken identity, I would have been like, that's what I thought was going to happen. And that was something I thought would, you know, I could kind of excuse that because it was an honest mistake. But the fact that he manipulated her to pretend he was the other twin just to sleep with her when he knows she does not like him, I was like, and maybe it was naive of me. Maybe I should have known better, but I don't read a whole lot of like straight up romances. Like a lot of books that I read with romances in it, like even if the romance is like a big plot, there's usually a bigger plot than the actual romances. And I have never encountered this. If this is a common trope or a common thing, I'm not aware of it, but I did not like it. And to me, like, that's a type of assault. 100%, and I do not like it. And I was like, no. The fact that she excused it'd be different if she like whooped his ass or something. You know what I mean? Like, hell, I'd whoop his ass 5 times, even if I was okay with him. The fact that he manipulated her to sleep with the wrong, I'm like, what? No. And maybe it gets better, I don't know, but just from like that little bit that I listened to, I was just like, okay, so the next one is the Lumine Files, and I decided to DNF this series before a lot of the controversy came out about the authors, and it was just because I loved the first book, but I hated the second book, and the first 2 books are about different people, and apparently in the third one, they meet up or they do something, and they're in the third book together, right? But I don't know if it's half and half, but I was like, if I hate, like, because, you know, it's 2 boys and 2 girls, 1 boy and 1 girl in each book. If I hate one of the couples and there's only 2 couples and it's like half the book, I'm probably not going to enjoy the third one, or I'm going to enjoy half of it. Maybe that's a wrong assumption, but that's what I thought. So, okay, so this one's not a traditional series in a sense, but they're kind of sold together and marketed, but each one's a different story. And it's like the Disney Twisted Tales. honestly, I see nothing wrong with these. I've read the first 4, and there's a bunch of them. Like, they're retelling a bunch of, like, classic Disney movies with, like, a twist or something. And for the most part, they were, like, okay, but I was not blown away by any of them. And I just have no desire to finish, but there's nothing wrong with them. So the next one is another Jay Kristoff book. I swear he's not the whole series, but the Aurora Cycles, like, I listened to the first book and I loved it, right? Kind of like Illuminae. I haven't listened to the second book, but by the time, like, the second one was actually, like, available to me, a lot of stuff just came out about the authors, and I decided maybe I should put this series on a back burner. So the next one is a children's classic, Oz, the Wizard of Oz series. I read the first book and I liked it, but have you ever had a book that you just really liked on its own, and then, like, even though there's more books in a series, you just don't care about them? Like, the first book's just so concise, so contained, and you're like, I'm content. I'm content with this being the story, and I don't need more. So the other books could be perfectly fine, and maybe I would enjoy them, but I just have no desire to enjoy them, or to read them, not to enjoy them, but I have no desire to read them. Ooh, okay, so this next one is a recent read. It's not my most recent, but it's recent enough that I still have, like, feelings about. And Dr. Dolittle. I had no idea this children's book was racist as all get out. And I read, like, apparently an edited edition, and I didn't know there was an edited edition. And it's supposed to make it slightly less racist, and it was still really racist. And then I did research about how racist the original story was, and I was just like, can we just not enjoy children's books? Like, like, I felt like this kind of like a little bit with, like, The Secret Garden. Like, I was just thrown off. Like, sometimes, you know, when racism's in a book, you expect it, you look out for it because you know it's going to be there. Sometimes, like, especially in adult, I'm not saying it's good in adult books either, but it all irritates me. But when it's unexpected in a kid's book, and it's worse that I had the edited, calmed down version, and I was still like, this is really, really racist. Did research, and apparently it was like 10 times more racist than the original. And I'm just like, I only read the first one. Apparently the series gets worse. So I'm just like, I'll just stick with, like, the Eddie Murphy version. I have not seen the Robert Downey Jr. one, but I've only seen, like, the first Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy, and I had no idea what the plot of the actual book was about. I just knew the first Eddie Murphy movie. I thought it was going to be similar. I was wrong. Okay, so, you know, with The Wizard of Oz, I mentioned that the first book was just so self-contained. I enjoyed it. I just have no interest in continuing. I feel the same way about this next one. And I don't know what the actual series is called, because apparently it's mangas based on her life, like they're memoirs, but they're in, like, different sections of her life. And it was my lesbian experience with loneliness. And I really enjoyed it. And apparently the other ones, I think, go from, like, kid to adult. And this one was just the first one she did. It was just a random story. And then the rest go in, like, chronological order. I don't know if they're a series, but I'm going to say it is, right? And she basically hires, like, an escort to lose her virginity. And she talks about depression, eating disorders, self-harm, you know, being really nervous about her first sexual experience, dealing with her sexuality. And I thought it was an interesting read, because I've never read anything like it. Like, I've read other, like, lesbian stuff, but I've never read anything that, like, takes place with, like, an escort or anything like that. And I'm sure the other ones are good, but at this current time in my life, that first one was just so self-contained, and I enjoyed it. I just have no interest for the other ones. So the next 3 are very popular mangas that I just did not enjoy. I get a little hate sometimes from my friend group over this. People might not like it here, but I'm just going to group them together. I know they are not the same story, but they kind of fall in the same genre, published by the same people, and kind of have the same audience. So maybe there's a theme here. Who knows? But One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto. I do not plan on finishing these. Out of the three, I enjoyed Bleach the most, and I got the furthest. Well, I think I got the same length of Naruto and Bleach now that I think about it, but with Bleach, I kind of binged it to like volume 15 or 16, something like that. And then Naruto, I did it kind of slowly just because I wasn't super invested, but I could enjoy it. One Piece I read to like volume 9, and I'm just like, this is not for me. No, I'm good. And it's weird because I usually like pirate stuff, but I've never really read a pirate book. It's always been pirate movies. So maybe it's just the wrong format, which I mean, I know, there's like the devil's fruit and there's abilities, and it's not all just like piratey, like in a traditional sense. But I was like, hey, this sounds like my jam. I like other pirate things, and nah. I gave up on all three of those, and they're like the big three at some point. I think now there's Boruto, so, and One Piece is still in the big, like, three. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it's the big three classic mangas that I think every person has at least heard of, even if you're not, like, a huge manga or anime fan. You probably heard of these three at some point. So, guys, that is it. Those are 12 series I do not plan on finishing. If there's any series that you just dropped or you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section below. And I don't really care what you say about them if it's spoilers, because I'm not going to finish them. Bye.